fire there and a fire there, and Nelligan's there.
They're going right there. Right here, look at this here.
Did it prepare me for what was going to happen? Oh, no. No, it didn't prepare me at all.
The whole country exploded.
Oh, my Buddha. I've never seen fire travel against the wind. Australia's used to it, but not on that scale. The scale of this was like no other.
The land was extraordinarily dry. I don't think I have seen areas like ours as dry as they were in my time.
And you put the three things together, the fuel, the wind and the heat, and that's all you need to make fire. And we had the best of it all.
Basically, the whole country exploded.
On the 26th of November, when the first fire sort of started, we had close to 100-kilometre gusts of wind, and then coming back down to about 60, and it was windy in the middle of the day. We've got a wind change, so instead of coming from the north, it's now virtually coming from the west, you could say, a little bit southwest. So it's actually now pushing the fire away from us.
You've had to make this decision about what are the most valuable things to us. You know, what are the things that we don't want to lose? And you pack them in your car and they're sitting there waiting, and your brain is just constantly switched on in a high anxiety mode, because any second you could be getting an SMS or a phone call or have the fire brigade rolling down the street saying, leave now or defend your property.
We arrive in Sydney and the sky is just like a grey, dusty, orangey grey colour. And you could smell the smoke in the air. So this was another thing that was really unusual. So, you know, this is our Christmas summer holiday. We're going to go, and the beach there's just dead leaves everywhere.
The second one we knew was coming. The second one was the one on New Year's Eve. We were informed that it was getting pretty bad. We had police knocking on our doors for days prior, saying that you have to evacuate. If you're going to go, you've got to leave now. If you're going to stay, you stay, because they didn't want people on the roads.
You don't really sleep because you've got fire brigade vehicles quietly going up and down the street all night with their lights flashing.
We went to the beach on New Year's Eve day, how we normally would. But it was a little bit strange. It got very, very hot on the beach and the wind started picking up, and it was quite awful to be on the beach. It was not normal at all. We go back to the holiday house and the power goes out.
So if something happened, we just run.
Yeah, emergency plan is just to go straight down to the beach.
And it's New Year's Eve.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
You've got no idea what's happening, do you? They're going right there. Right here, look at this here.
Oh my God, so
That's right.
it's very close.
Let's get your shoes on, okay? We'll put some pants and shoes on.
There's a fire there and a fire there, and Nelligan's there. Oh my Buddha. I've never seen fire travel against the wind. The wind's going this way. The smoke's going that way, and some of this fire, look at that. Fuck me. Now we're in deep shit. You cannot even see. You probably have second thoughts. You know you're in it, and you think, did I make the right choice staying? But you have no option now. Fucking bright red. And from that point when the smoke come up the river and joined in front of my place, it was probably about 15 or 20 minutes of till it went complete dark. And I mean complete dark. But fucking black. It's red. It's like night time. You could hear explosions, and what a lot of people don't know is there are certain types of trees we have, eucalypt trees, and they have a lot of oil in them and they combust. Like when they heat, it becomes like a bomb. These trees that are probably one of the worst trees to have when you've got a fire.
Oh, look at this. This is my street. Have a go at that.
I'm relying on generators to get my water to save the house. I didn't have the internet as the fire come in the afternoon. You don't have any contact with anyone. That's it. You're on your own.
We were very, very lucky because at the last sort of minute, the wind changed and it got a lot cooler. We packed our bags and we had backpacks with our essentials, and I had the baby carrier for our 2-year-old to be like, we head to the beach if we need to. Hugh stayed up most of the night and I tried to sleep, like go to bed with our son, but I was waking up every 30 minutes or so to check. And the air is just full of smoke, even inside the house. So you're waking up and you're choking on smoke.
It's raining. Please don't stop the rain. Keep rain.
The second night, the internet had come back on very late at night, so we were starting to get through.
Mum and Dad managed to come back in with a police escort because we're all trapped here. Yeah, Yule's in the car over here, so we're going to try and get out. There's really big lines trying to get out, so we're going to be in the car for a long time, but there must be a fire just over here because the planes and the helicopters are going very low this way, so it's best that we get out while we can.
And then everybody was stuck on the road for about 4 hours because another fire had started further up. So where they were trying to evacuate people out, they had to block that road because another fire had started there. And that's what people are talking about when they say these fires are unpredictable.
The third one was different. This one got really close. We had a helicopter and he was picking up water right out the back of my place. I could see his face, the driver, the pilot, and he was looking at me and I'm looking at him and I'm taking pictures. It took 2.5 minutes for him to fill up, dump the water and come back again. And he'd done that for 2 hours. And if it wasn't for the helicopter, I think all the houses around me would have been gone.
It's like having a beast at the door, and I think this is the thing about these fires. When they reach a certain scale, they are almost like living entities. And a lot of the firefighters that have been fighting fires for years will say the same thing. They'll say they are like an animal. They are trying to fight against you and towards you.
In New South Wales, residents and tourists are being told to get out now with more hellish conditions on the way. The warning comes in the midst of a mounting crisis with petrol, food and water supplies running dangerously low.
I really don't know what's going to happen here. I've got heaps of food, I've got heaps of water. The problem is I'm getting low on petrol.
I should have had 80 litres of petrol. I didn't know I was going to be without power for 3 weeks.
We had no electricity, we had no internet, we had no phone reception, and we had no car.
I was very lucky that I could still cook, I could still eat. I didn't have to go to any of the evacuation centres where food was coming in. The army was bringing in food. Sometimes they would get trucks through. People didn't have stocks up. All these sort of things you don't prepare yourself for. It was like being in a war.
Our food was running very low. I think we had like a packet of chips.
We had no food.
We had a packet of chips that was like, and I think a few muesli bars, and we were like, this is all that we've got.
One.
There would have been nearly 2 semi-trailers of just bread. And the reason for that is it's the only thing that you don't really have to cook bread. You can make a sandwich. You don't need electricity. It was something that was easy for people to grab. When the threat goes, when the fire passes or everything settles down for a while, you seem to fall. Your energy's gone, you're depleted, and mentally you just collapse.
It was just so long of driving through this area that was burnt out, and you think of how much wildlife was destroyed.
It was very sad,
Yeah.
really sad. So I made a small video on our YouTube channel, and I put the sad music, and it feels so sad.
Where I live, I look at water and I look at bush, and it's a very beautiful place. But now to see it over the 2 months just be burnt time and time again, and everything went red, brown, black. You felt like you were on a different planet. You felt like you weren't in your home anymore.
I've read that it's going to take 100 years to really recover from this. Bushfires are a natural part of Australia, so there are some plants that, you know, they need to have a bushfire for them to germinate and that type of thing. But these fires were just so much more and so different from other fires.
It's beyond anything in living memory that's happened in this country, and there's a lot of people tried to talk about how, oh no, it's just another fire season, it's not. It was not a normal fire season.
It just hit more Australians than ever before. It affected more Australians than ever before.
The Christmas period, 25th till the 1st of January, some shops, this is where they make their money. The rest of the year, they only pay their rent and stuff like that. Well, that didn't happen this year. How many of those small businesses aren't going to be here? Some of these people will lose their houses even if they didn't burn down because they can't pay their house. If they owe money to the bank.
An interesting thing is insurance companies are now starting to seriously talk about areas that they may not ever offer insurance again because the risk is too high. I would say that there will be quite a number of people walking away from properties because they simply won't be able to rebuild there and they might not want to face the risk again.
So local police and the local fire brigade and that, they did, excellent job. But of course, people were wondering, why wasn't the army brought in earlier? Why wasn't there more plans and strategies about this? Because ex-fire chiefs wanted to meet with the Prime Minister months and months ago. They had in writing, this is going to happen, and they wanted to meet with him, and he refused to meet them. And an important point is that the rural fire brigade is all volunteer-based, and these are the people that are going out into these massive forests to fight these massive fires, and they've got 2 just normal fire trucks. And I just remember crying at how desperate it seemed, and this was happening all over Australia.
Climate change creates the right background circumstances for these things to take place, for them to be of a greater magnitude than they would normally be, for them to occur earlier, for them to occur over longer periods of time. And that, to me, is the reality of climate change.
We just expect that, of course, the government is going to do something about it. We expect that internationally they'll do something about it, right? And now we're seeing that that's not happening. So I think we need to be more politically aware, and we need to protest, and we need to show that we have loud voices.
Am I worried about the fire coming back next year? No. No, there's nothing left to burn. Am I worried about this happening again in 10 years' time if things don't change? Oh, yeah.
They're already talking about some areas going back onto bushfire standby because even though so much has been burnt, the heat is coming back again.
It has to change. Something has to change.